Hey, Vegas.
Good morning, Vegas. Thank you for joining us back at Vegas Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show.
Here we are.
So before we get started, I'm Trish.
And I'm Tiana.
Yes. And before what threw us off guard here is I was showing Tiana my lovely gift that my clients gave me, this jewelry that I'm wearing today. I do want to give a shout out to Kipper and Darcy. I love you guys. Thank you so much. This was so unexpected and so gracious and
so lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, if you're on the if you're listening to us and you're not actually watching, then you can't see it, but she got these beautiful diamond and pearl necklace, bracelet, and earring set.
As a client gift, like I usually give gifts to my clients, but like never expect anybody to give me a gift. So they brought me a closing gift that was so sweet, so very kind, and I love it, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No, but it is nice to express gratitude. So I really love that we get to do that here too, because we do build a little tribe and a community, and everybody's out there awesome. They show up every Thursday at 9:30 to watch us live on the Facebook. They download and record us, and we appreciate that. So thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, and being part of the tribe.
Thank you, Vegas. There's news. I've seen a little bit. There's lots of news. I mean,
there's news happening in the world.
News is all about real estate these days, but mostly about the NAR settlements.
It is crazy how many different stories there are in different pieces of information that get. My sister from Florida called me yesterday and was like, what's going on with this lawsuit? I heard the Tropicana is closing, the world's imploding. And I was like, whoa, okay. So Tropicana did close yesterday. That is true. And as far as the NAR news, all I can say is nothing's really going to change in the day-to-day of real estate.
There's not. And it's, you got to be careful. I've always agreed that the news doesn't really report. I mean, I think I'm a firm believer that the news does not really report accuracy anymore.
Everybody in our tribe knows you think that because they tune in and hear it often.
Yeah, it's more like a gossip column. Like, do you remember when we were growing up? What was that called? The National Enquirer.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like all media now is the National Enquirer.
Well, I think that the headlines for this whole NAR settlement are a bunch of clickbait they're saying like home prices are dropping because of this, or
we haven't seen any facts or any data.
Wait till we get to the numbers, because our numbers are showing the opposite of that. But here's the thing. If we take anything away from this NAR settlement, and it happens to be my favorite thing, is that no real estate happens without a buyer, period. If somebody's not buying real estate, there's no real estate being sold into conversation. And I think it's about time that these sellers have that moment in the sun where every agent, every brokerage, everybody is talking about the buyer. And they are now brainstorming finally on how to help the buyer get the funds, how to best service. And I'm seeing like 1,000 agents all over social media telling or expressing their value on why they're a valuable buyer's agent and stuff now. And it's about time that, they got that attention, because I believe in real estate, everything was so list heavy.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the loan programs, FHA made a revision to their loan program recently, which they always had a max seller contribution of 6%, where the buyers can get up to 6% max contribution from the seller.
Right.
And that was it. Well, now they've added, there's an additional in addition to that max contribution, which allows for buyer's brokerage compensation to be paid for by the seller.
And we just go, woo, woo.
So there's revisions being done. There's people in the works. Things are already happening. This is such a short time frame from now till July, especially in real estate world, because we're in like 30 days. Everything's 30 days out. We're almost cyclical. There. Yeah. So it's, but things are moving. Things are in motion, and I do feel like something good will come out of this.
Well, I already think that something good has come out of it, and then I think a lot of nothing will come out of it. Because it's like when the market crashed, I can't remember what those in the old loans, they used to be like this bet against the house section, and then when we went through the recession and all of the loan stuff got reconfigured and was more ethical, so there was no more predatory lending and blah blah blah. It's the same but different because now they have credit swaps, which are default credit swaps, which is basically same sheep, different skin.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen with the buyer brokerage. We're not going to be able to allow a co-op in the MLS. That's the big verdict. No co-op in the MLS.
But people will be able to request it in the offer.
I think they're just going to reconfigure a way to do it. They're already doing it.
Yeah, yeah. So it is, be careful what you're reading on the news because they will definitely lead you in the wrong direction.
Well,
and Yahoo, I believe it was. Let's cite the right source here. Posted they posted an article that said, commissions are always negotiable. Of course, all of that. We know that. We'll repeat that a trillion times. But they said, oh, you'll be able to get buyer's representation now for $500. And I'm like, who are they working for?
Right? Okay, so I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen because there's always an air of desperation with people. Mm-hmm. And so I think that some agents are going to be desperate enough to do that. It's going to be like taking the 1% listing, though. It's going to be like a bit of a bait and switch.
But there'll be there might be a small section of people that do that, but just think about this scenario for just 1 second.
Okay.
How easy is it to find an agent, and people out there that have tried this will know, that will show you rentals? Right. It is not. And why? Well,
why?
No, let's see. And what is the there's no average commission, but like a lot of the payments, which is not commission on rentals, like referral fee.
Right. So on rentals, it's referral fee, and in the Valley, it basically ranges from like $250 to, if you're very lucky, $500 for a referral fee to go out and rent one property.
Okay. Now, what is the agent's duties on that if they're showing a...
Zero nada, because they're not clients.
They're not clients, so they just open the door, send them on their way.
Right.
Do you really think it's going to be easy to find an agent for $500 to do an entire transaction? I don't think so.
No, I don't think that any agent will do $500. I think that's
maybe. It's all negotiable.
Right. It's all negotiable. You might find somebody out there. But that poor agent who decides to do that is really not understanding their value or worth, because that there is so much that goes into representing a buyer or a seller in the real estate transaction. So many phone calls, so many conversations with lenders, with title, with the clients, with the list agent. It's so much work.
And liability and E&O insurance. Let's not forget that if you end up in a litigation and you have to go to court, do you know that it costs us on average $10,000 for the E&O insurance deductible? You're not even making enough money to cover that.
Yeah, I think the people who are going to try to do the bottom of the barrel sales, or the maybe not $500, but they're the ones that are going to sort of be the ones suffering. And I think this is just going to be growing pains. Real estate has been here for generations before I was here, and will be here for generations after I'm gone. And I think that we're just going to work it all out in the wash, just kind of like lending did. Like, they can't do this, but now they have credit default. Same but different. Whatever.
Well, and California just brought up minimum wage at McDonald's to $20 an hour. You're probably better off working there at that point. I'm just saying.
Not in California with those living prices. $20 an hour is going to be very different in California versus like somewhere smaller like Nebraska.
Yeah, but still, I'm just that was a joke. But, I mean, again, know your value, and there is, a cost for the services we're providing. So consumers need to understand that. Yahoo, you should take note.
$500. But again, that's all clickbait and rumors, and people are saying, hey, this might happen and this might happen, and we could get to a point where we're doing this. But until we're actually in the mechanics of working and seeing how it goes, assuming that this all gets settled by July, and we move forward, then it is what it is. But I'm going to tell you something. We haven't even done the numbers yet, and the numbers do not suggest prices going down.
Yes. 2 more things of news before we hit the numbers.
Okay.
Las Vegas is going to have a new airport. We've been talking about it. I don't have all the details yet, though. But
but go back to other shows. We've talked about it.
Well, but we have an airport coming, so great.
Yeah.
They just finalized the approvals or plans or something yesterday. So that's all. We're going to be seeing a lot more about that. And Opendoor, I think in a previous show sometime last year, there was a class action lawsuit on Opendoor, against Opendoor.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I guess they're that's been settled or something, and their people are going to start getting payouts for that. But I just. And I'm biased, of course, but I think with this whole NAR thing or whatever, these class action lawsuits are getting out of control. It started with I'm sure it started with things years ago, but I remember it starting with the Skechers shape ups. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but there's
those fat rounded
shoes.
The
fat rounded workout shoes, but I just remember that being the first time where it was why is this so? Where it came into my head of why is this so easy and so weird? And they were if you bought these shape ups and you didn't get in shape or lose weight, we're gonna pay you or whatever. And I'm really? I mean, isn't it your choice to buy whatever tennis shoes you want and call them what you want? I don't know. I just think I think the stuff's getting out of control. And I'm probably biased because of what's happening now, but I just think all of this stuff is just getting out of control. But let's get into the numbers.
Okay. But just leaping on over to a completely different subject. So going back to the clickbait about how they think that home prices are dropping because of this suit. We do not have the inventory for that to happen. And if we look at our numbers this week, we have 3,229 single-family homes available on the market, which is less than last week and the week before that. And what was it? Last week, we finally dipped down under 3,300, and now we're playing at that 3,200.
Yeah. And let me just say, too, I have a couple that is shopping Green Valley area, kind of starter home, 3 to 4 bedroom, a little bit, anywhere from 1,600, 2,000 square foot average.
Okay.
That's kind of their only criteria. We're at about 525 and under. It's almost impossible to find a home if they all have multiple offers. That's not an indication of price drops.
Yeah, no, that's not and we haven't had any. We had 368 price decreases last week. Mm-hmm. And that is, again, that number is getting smaller and smaller. Our inventory is getting smaller and our price decreases are getting smaller each week. You know what's not getting smaller?
The solds.
The solds
Those
are not
going
getting
up.
Those are going up.
534.
534.
That's a good number, guys.
That's a good number.
We're getting into that 2,000. My favorite, if you've followed us for years, my favorite number of solds is 3,000 a month. That's when we were in real estate bliss.
Real estate bliss. Wait, are we going to have a blissful spring? Because I hope that happens.
Yeah, so we're getting closer to that number. That is just indication of a great market. Under contract, 693. That's also
going
number.
up. That's also going up. Those new homes aren't coming on the market as fast, and the homes that are on the market are getting multiple offers and selling quick. It is spring in Vegas.
Yes, it is.
And real estate is happening.
It is happening. So, we got some buyer questions today, or some listener questions today.
They're buyers. So
are they all? They are all buyers, huh?
Yeah. Usually they are buyers that write in with the questions. That's what I'm saying. For so long, real estate is always, and they teach it to you, right? Mm-hmm. Every real estate coach, every sales will be get the listings and the buyers will follow. Yeah. Get the listings and the buyers will follow.
I never really understood that.
Well, I do.
I mean, the sign calls and the marketing attracts. Okay, I get that part, but I always had a hard time, even when I first got into real estate. I felt and I know this isn't what they were trying to say, but when you hear the messages that all the people are training, I feel they're ignore buyers, just focus only on listings. And I'm
that's the way they are.
That's business.
Yeah, but to them it's not real business, because once you put a buyer in a home, then they're there for like 7-8 years. Right. But when you
but
have
that's 7 or 8 years down the line business.
Yeah. But when you take a listing, then there's the chance that most of those listings are going to be buys in the city. If not, they're buys in the city, then you might have the opportunity to refer to an out-of-state agent. But then you also have the signs, so you get potential to get buyers for sign calls, leads that go in your database. So I get why listings are the bread and butter of the real estate. But again, it takes two to tango, right?
I believe in a balanced business.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to have a seller and you have to have a buyer. And the buyers have always been treated like redheaded stepchildren. And the sellers have always been pampered and catered to because they're the seller. And yes, okay, we'll put your house on the market overpriced, Mr. Seller. That's okay. What are you doing? No, that's not helping the seller or anything else. But yeah, I think it's about time that people wake up and start handling the people who are bringing the money to the table with care. So yay, as a buyer's agent, welcome to the world, the rest of you.
Yes, I do love it. I got an interesting listener question. I don't even know, we're not going to talk about it today, but it was about the settlement, the lawsuit and everything. It was when I got it, it came through yesterday and I was like, this is a great question, but I don't know an answer to it. So we'll have to do some research on that one before we can answer it on the show. So
yeah, now you're just dangling it in front of me. That's rude.
I researched a lot. I don't think there is an answer to that question available yet. So that is
now
a
I'm
TBD.
curious.
Yeah, I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be patient enough to wait till after the show.
But on that note, I do love all the questions coming in. So thank you again. If you have any questions, please make sure to send them to us. Best way to do that is through our link tree.
Yep.
And
it'll be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the link tree will be on the website, and it's also, if you're watching on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, it's going to be in the description as well.
Oh, perfect. And that's realtycheck.vegas.
Yep, realtycheck.vegas, and all those listener questions to us, starting with questions for today. Then let's start with Sarah.
Sarah wants to know if a realtor can sell her a brand new home.
Well, a realtor can help her buy a brand new home from the builder, but the builder's the one that's actually going to be selling it.
The builder is the seller.
You can absolutely have realtor representation when purchasing a new construction, and I suggest you do, because realtors work in the field and contracts, but they can also negotiate better with the builder, and we have a little bit of a nice pillar to stand on, since we do a lot of business with builders, especially if your realtor has a good working relationship with builders.
And here's the thing to understand, Sarah and everybody, you're not hiring a realtor to open you a door or show you a house.
Nope.
That's an added benefit. You're hiring a realtor for representation, to protect your interest, to know and understand the contracts, to advocate for you in this transaction with experience and knowledge. Mm-hmm. And yes, that should be something that you want even when purchasing new construction, because again, when you go into a builder's office, model home, whatever, the person that works there works for the seller, the builder.
Right. And they're representing the seller builder.
Yes. And they're going to look out for the best interest of the person that writes their paychecks.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And they're very good. I love all of the sales agents inside those builders. They are very knowledgeable and helpful for the most part. I have rarely come across somebody who doesn't know exactly what they're doing in those situations. But the fact of the matter is, they're not there for you as the buyer. And there are things that go awry, let's say, in a contract, because it's not like a resale home where it's a 30-day contract. You're in that contract for 6, 8, 10 months before that home is built. And just last year, when the interest rates started changing, we were able to adjust the interest rates on the contract with the builder because of that, because we did have the knowledge.
Yeah. And I remember, and I will never forget a time where a buyer told me that she cried at the design center.
Oh, that's my favorite place to be. Don't cry. That's my happy spot.
Well, the problem is, yes, it's favorite. It's a happy spot, but a lot of times, people will walk into the models, it looks great, it looks everything, but they don't understand the dynamic of what's included and what's not included. And it's really not thoroughly explained. When I take my buyers through a model home, that's something that I bring that person from the sales office and I say, walk us through, if they're interested in it. Of course, I don't want to do it on every single home, but if the buyers are truly interested, walk us through and show us what's going to be different on the home that they're purchasing, this base model.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is just show them the actual diagram of the floor plan. And you're buying this footprint of a house. The finishes are going to be different than what we're going to see when we go in here. And then when we do go to the design center, I always try and advocate for my clients who may not have bought a new home construction before, so they may not know that the things that go in the wall you're going to want to get done at that construction time, your electrical, your water, adding an extra vanity, can lights, whatever. And then the things that are finishes or like an appliance package, you might want to buy outside of the builder because you don't want to have to pay on that interest over 30 years for an appliance package.
Right. But what is, I guess, a situation that can cause someone to cry at the design center is if you're
besides the bill.
Right. Well, it is the bill. It's the, you're on a limited budget. You could barely, afford or complete this purchase. And then you get to this place where they show you like all these things in the home aren't going to be there. And it's not going to be like what that model home looks like. It's going to look like this. And you can have it look like that, but it's going to cost all this extra. And if you truly, and then in this case, she couldn't afford that, that will deflate your balloon. But it is too late.
Yeah, well, when you're at the design center, then you are in the wrong side of the transaction to make any changes like that.
So in that situation, a realtor working with her could have helped her through determining that, especially knowing and understanding her budget ahead of time, determining all of that before that happened and it got to that point.
Yeah. So, that would be heartbreaking if you walked into a model home, thought that was what you're purchasing, and all of a sudden you get your completed home walkthrough and you've got builder grade shower surrounds and silver faucets instead of the beautiful brass ones that were in the model.
Yeah, and a lot of times, they'll brush over those things and just not really make it a defined fact or message to the buyer at the time
really
they're
not
signing the
disclosing
contract.
like, hey, listen, your house isn't going to be exactly like this one because
or at all in some cases. I mean, and if they have a standing, like if they have a ready home, that's one thing I'll make them do too. I'm like, let's go look at what you have already built. And there are so many times that the buyers are like, whoa, like when you look at the model and you look at this, these look like two different homes. And in some cases they do. So that is very important. Yes, a realtor can sell you a home. And yes, you should have a realtor represent you when purchasing a new home.
Yeah. Because just being in the business on the day-to-day, we have so much more knowledge that we even just take for granted that can help and benefit buyers.
Yes. One more note on that one. And I know I talk too much, but
don't we both?
Yeah.
We're like, let's do a show. All we do is talk. Yay.
One more note on that one. I was with, and I won't say the builder. I'm not going to call you out there, but you guys suck. I was.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. I was in this one condo with this new build, and it was a condo. I'm there with the buyers. We're walking through, and it's very small. Square footage was even small. I think it was like under 1,000 square foot, and I don't know, 2 or 3 bedroom. Like it was, just very small. But we're walking through, and I'm looking in the living room, and I'm like, that, like it's a couch, like a 3-bay couch.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I like that you call them a bay.
Whatever I don't know what they're called, right?
It's a bay for like
cushion.
Parking. Yeah, cushion couch.
Cushion couch.
So a couch.
But, so it's there, but I'm looking, I'm like, why does that look so small? It's like, it's taking up like a big portion of the living room. The couch looks really small. And I sat down on it, and I'm not a big person. And I took up like
not a big person.
2 cushions. And I'm like, whoa. And I sat there, and, this is in my head because I'm not, there sales agents there with us in this place. We're walking through, the buyers are like, oh, everything's bright and shiny and new. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, that just doesn't look right. So I sat down, and I'm like, almost 2 cushions wide on this tiny little miniature of a couch.
Right. And speaking of miniature, are you even 5 foot?
I know, right?
I mean, you're miniature.
I'm 5'2", 2.5.
Okay. But, look at you, big. Go get them.
Yeah. But yeah. So I'm sitting there, and I sat there so the buyers could have a visual, and I look up at the sales agent, and I said, "Is all the furniture here undersized?
Is this kids' furniture? Am I in a fun house?"
Yeah, and the buyers seen that. It's like I didn't need to say anything else. They seen the visual. They seen me, and they were like, "Wow, oh!" And they're like, "This won't even fit a regular size sofa in this room." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so." And the sales agent looked like she wanted to kill me.
Right? She's like, "Are you trying to bust this sale, lady?"
Yes, I am. but that, and I mean, that was all said and done. Buyers were like, "Nah, never mind. This isn't going to work out for us." But, things like that can be deceiving or misleading.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. And you got, and a good agent's going to look out for, things like that. We don't have superpowers, but we do. But we don't, there's.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah, there's just an air of comfort that we have, that we are constantly looking at room sizes. And even when they're zhuzhed up and staged and look like all beautiful, you still get to sort of depict it and be like, is this really valuable? Is this worth what they're asking for?
Right. You do have to be very cautious.
Indeed.
Yes. So down to 3 minutes. Which question do you want to go to next? Sorry.
So not doing 3 questions this week. Okay, get it. We can just go right down the line to Rachel's.
Okay. So,
my husband and my income combined is about $200,000 a year, and we own a home already. But we want to start investing in real estate, and it's hard to come up with enough cash for that 20% down payment. Is there any way of having a less of a down payment in our first time investment, or any suggestions on how we could start investing?
Right. Definitely a lender question on if there's other options or other things out there.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Well, there is a conventional loan, and it is for investment purposes. It's 15% down instead of the 20% down, and then you take the rent that the property will rent for,
yes.
so that they can qualify. So it's no income or taxes. They're using the income of the property. So if you can come up with 15% down, you can buy an investment property if it rents enough to cover the mortgage.
Yes, I do remember hearing about this
program. And that's a conventional loan.
It is conventional. One thing to keep in mind, the lower down payment, the higher the MIP and the higher the rate, especially on investments, those rates get pretty ugly. I know a lot of time lenders will suggest instead of even doing a 20%, you go 25 or 30 because you can have a more favorable rate and cost scenario on that. However, all that aside, and yes, it is, sometimes it's hard coming up with the cash, even if you make good income, which I think $200,000 a year is pretty good income.
Yeah.
If you own a home, you can do, and I've had many people do this, is a cash out refi, to help you come up with that that down payment, that initial down payment. You want to talk to your lender when you're doing the refi about this, because sometimes they will tell you could do this cash out refi, but they do have to incorporate that payment that is for the refi into the debt to income and everything, and make sure that you could still qualify for that investment with the payment from the refi and from that, or which I like this scenario even better.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. It depends on how much equity you actually have. Some people have a lot of equity in their home, and pulling out the entire amount for that investment property from there can have a more favorable rate if you have enough equity to do so, favorable rate than a rate on an investment loan, and you can use that cash to purchase.
Yep. So there are ways to absolutely use the property that you already have to get money to get the investment property, and if you do have the ability to save the funds up to the side and do that 15% down, that's a good one. But you're right, higher rates. And those are great lender questions. And we have lenders on the show periodically, so you can go through the playlist and talk to a few different lenders if that's something that you're interested in, just to see what works best for you. Because really with lending, it's so specific to you, your credit, your income, your life, that it's really best to talk to a pro.
Absolutely. And if you want to get connected with a pro or a lender or
give us a call.
Pro realtor, who do you contact?
Well, they can contact you, and you know lots of lenders. How do they get a hold of you, Trish?
702-308-2878. And Tiana, you also know lots of lenders.
I know lots of lenders.
Plethora of knowledge. So how do people reach out to you?
They can call me, text me, 702-379-9948. Make sure you come back here next Thursday at 9:30, and we will be going over all Vegas news and information. If you do have listener questions, make sure you send those to Vegas Realty. No.
Oh. Realtycheck.vegas.
Yes. I got to throw that at the end.
Realtycheck.vegas. And we are a .vegas, not a .com.
We are not.
So you know where to find us right here in Vegas.
Right.
And Tiana, next week is going to be our market update.
Oh yeah, we're in April. Yep.
Yes.
Market update. So we'll talk about everything that happened in the last 30 days in real estate, numbers, prices, which, unlike the clickbait that you're seeing out on the internet saying prices are dropping, I doubt that. So come back next week and find out the real scoop.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Vegas. Thank you for joining it, and we'll see you next week.
Bye. Have a great week.
Bye.